What's up, everybody? It's your favorite craziest voice in the series, favorite nerd, and today we are looking at Masterpiece tracks. We got a lot to talk about, so I don't want to waste too much time. We'll get into accessories first. A lot of this stuff we're going to talk about kind of later, but we have this little thing. You know, you just leave the jokes alone for now. And then we have this gun, which is fine. And then we have a little blaster, which is actually pretty well done. Like these two pieces here, just to like give you the heads up on them, like has a silver metallic finish on a black piece of plastic, and then this is this gray plastic, and then it has this silver metallic finish on the gun bit. But this one is really, it's really decked out for what it is. It's like the little tampered Autobot symbol on there, and then all the red is painted, and then it has the silver metallic finish, and the black is painted as well. So that's it's a pretty well done accessory. And then Raul, he, a little bit more love could have gone into this fella, but he's going to stand like a champ. But he scales a little bizarre with all the other possible human figures. Like, it's not hateful, but like, it's just, it doesn't look right. Like, the proportions are different. You know what I mean? Like, they're the same size, but the proportions are just way different. But you know, while it's cool to be able to pose them and stuff, I think that this makes for a better overall presentation, like on a shelf. Like these look always a little goofy on shelves, but like that's gonna look fine. So I understand that it's less, but sometimes less is more. But for him himself, there's a fair amount of paint. There's blue paint, orange paint, this flesh tone. The hair is painted. The little headbands are painted. The gloves are painted. The little detailings on the coat are painted, and it's all from this cast here. So, you know, it is what it is. You know, and you know I hate that phrase, but there is a lot of attention put into this thing after the molding. I'm not sure I would have gone with this like glossy paint on everything. Who has glossy jeans? Well, people probably have glossy jeans now, but you know, like he didn't have glossy jeans. You know, it would have looked nice on the jacket. It would have given it like a leather feel, but like I don't feel like the skin and the shirt and, you know what I mean, the pants needed to be glossy. But that's just me being a paint freak. And lastly, which has kind of become par for the course, he comes with replacement side mirrors on sprues. If you can see that. And it's nice that if it'll focus, that the mirrors are painted. You know, that was a nice touch. So he comes with another accessory, but we'll talk about that in a minute. But I want to make sure that I get this hood thing, or I'll forget it, and I'm absolutely sure that everyone will let me know. But this hood does open up, and you can see the stuff underneath, and you can pretend Raul's cutting the wire, whatever it is that you want to do. And all the engine block and so forth underneath is just painted with this silver finish. Metallic silver finish, and it looks good. And the Autobot symbol is reversible. You can have it just be the blue roof there, if you so prefer. And from what I've been able to tell, you can pretty much just store one, either this or that inside. I couldn't get both to kind of look right. But yeah, so let's talk about this car a bit. Rolls fine. And the only thing I will say is that like mine, like I've tried to get it tighter, but mine is definitely like that wheel is not on the ground. I'm just pointing it out. It's not a huge deal. Like you see? Not moving. The rest are, and I got like some, like this tolerance wise, I can't get it to fit properly, whereas that one fits fine. Outside of that, the metallic blue finish is brilliant, looks great. The flames painted on the hood look great. The Corvette symbol looks good. Once again, it's this translucent plastic on the windshields. I'm not crazy about that. That's a personal preference of mine. I don't like being able to see all that stuff inside. I just don't care for it. I don't think it's, and I don't think it's accurate. That's just my personal opinion. Your opinion may vary, and that is okay. Underneath looks good. The feet fold up well, and it all kind of cleans up. There's this bit, which is, you know, it doesn't look accurate or whatever. I mean, as far as like a car, but what are you gonna do? You gotta have the wings on it, right? So it looks fine. The red paint on the brakes look good. Front end looks good. So overall, pretty good. Scale wise, fits pretty well. You know, looks good. And of course, fits inside MP10 with no problem. So the next mode is the flying car bit. You just open these up here and rotate at that gray joint. It's a tight joint. Use caution. And it might even be better to go backward just to get it out of the way, because then you gotta wiggle this bit until it frees up, and then get this whole assembly out of the way the best you can. Open up the arms here, and they're on these two sliding pins all the way out, and that's tight also. Then you kind of got to angle it down at the first joint and then back up, extend the arm, and you're going to plug into here with the hand, and good to go. Same on the other side. Make sure the yellow bit's up. Plug into the side. Good to go. Alright. This part here, you got to get these missiles down. Like the official transformation has it one way. We're gonna take a look at a couple ways though. But for the time being, we're just gonna get it out of the way. And then I think you can rotate these now. We'll see. And then bring this double joint on up again. Nope, sure can't. Alright, so disregard my last statement and keep them closed in, and then you can rotate them and put them in the proper place, and you have the flying car. Now I think the instructions have it to have like these facing inward, but I don't know. I think I like them. I think I like them backward. Just personal preference. It's not perfect either way, but I just feel like that looks awkward to me. But it doesn't really matter. You have the option. I made a mistake. One last thing that you have to do before it is actually complete is get these wings up. And they are a pain. So if you push down here from the bottom on both sides, it'll help. And then grab them there. Now you've got your flying car finished. In order to get this fella on the stand, you have this port here and this peg here on this stand that they have included, which is nice. Has an Autobot symbol tampered on there, ratcheted base hinge here, and a hinge here. Nice stand, but I will say that my nut keeps falling off. It keeps falling out from this screw here. The screw should have been a bit longer, I think, but whatever. Just be mindful. It's a small black nut, so if it falls off, there's a good chance you'll lose it. And there it is in all its glory, and it's pretty good. I like it. I think it's smart. I think it's a lot of smart choices made in order to pull it off, and I think that it pays homage to the representation of it very well. And I think it would have been a real bummer had they not done this. So the only other thing that you can add to it is this thing here, which we promised we wouldn't make jokes about. It's got two tabs here. If you slide it up at an angle up underneath where the license plate should go, and then push in, that'll go in, and now you've got yourself weapon mode or whatever. Alright, so let's give this a whirl. Open the backpack back up. Take off the accessories before you break them like I was trying to do. You can close up these wings too, just make your life a little easier. And then I'll tell you what, it might even be easier to just get these wings, because you got to fold this bit up anyway, so just get the wings back here and get them out of the way. And then try to work on getting this done. And you're going to turn that also. So there's that. Fold the wings up, I think. I don't know. We'll see. And unplug the arms. And they rotate up here. And this kind of shows you where they go. And let's see what else here. Open up the hood. And flip the head up. And then I think you go all the way up. I'm not exactly sure on that, but there that is. These doors unplug, and then they also hinge. You've got there, and they make up his back, which is pretty clever. And then this piece comes down into there. So why don't you, there you go. For the hands, open that piece up and then rotate the whole piece, and that fills in that gap, which is pretty clever. Would have been more clever if it went all the way in, but actually maybe it does. Yeah, I just got it wrong. Pardon me. Hands up. Alright, rotate the waist 180, and then you got to split all this apart, and this is there. Not too terrible. Bring these hood pieces all the way down. They're on a double hinge, and then you got to rotate the legs around, and then they lock back into place. And then you take this piece, slide it around, and it's on a hinge to come forward. Same on the other side. Pull out, rotate around, bring the foot down as you do it. Close together, bring this down and around for the front. And then I'll clean it up and take a second look, and we'll get back to them. Alright, so there's one thing I don't have right, and that's this bit up here. But I gotta be honest, like with these rotated, I don't know. I kind of like that bar there in the back, but it's supposed to be all the way up so that the brake lights are showing, and then these are rotated down and then down. And that looks good too. I mean, it looks fair as well. Ooh, okay. So let's just go. The head sculpt to me looks a little empty. I mean, it's definitely the character. Do you know what I mean? But there's something empty about it. I'm not sure. No paint other than the face is red and the eyes are blue. So that doesn't necessarily help its cause, but it's just something feels off to me. But not enough to really detract from the figure. I'm just pointing it out. So the rest of it, we'll get to the upper body last. Waist swivel, no problems there. You got this white paint, yellow and red on the metallic blue finish, so that's perfect. That's what more could you ask for? Universals for hips with 0 limitations out, but forward, not so great. It'll be fine for my needs, but for those people that do really dynamic stuff, you gotta move this to get it, and then it kind of throws it off. It's better than not having it at all, but kind of throws it off. Thigh swivel is at the universal joint, so that's fine. And then ratcheted knees, which seems like a very bizarre choice. This one's fine for me. This one, on the other hand, is not. There's something loose up in there, and that just sucks for me. White and red paint there, the blue metallic finish on top of the gray there, and that all looks good. And then the red on top of the foot looks good. The foot is on a hinge here to get you the tilt up inside, and then the rocker is on a hinge right here. And then that is actually, it looks like it's on an additional, yeah, so that's on an additional tilt as well. So the feet are really well articulated. You should be able to get whatever you want out of the feet. Now, we'll start distal. Wrist swivel, good to go. Fingers, single pin at the base knuckle. I like that. I prefer it that way. Good to go. As far as him holding his gun, same typical Masterpiece style. Come in at an angle, tab that bit in, close the fingers, holds it just fine. So that's good. The yellow and red paint look good. The paint on the wings look good. I don't know if I mentioned that before. We get a little out of control there and there. It's not like a finished paint on top of there, but it still looks pretty good. The shoulders. Now, there's tons of shoulder articulation, but the backpack and the wings hinder it significantly. So what you basically get at the end of the day is you get a hinge here. Oh God, but then you have to untab it from the, okay, so you get a hinge here, and then you get a swivel here, and that's really it. There's more you can do, but you'd have to undo the backpack and more probably. And then bicep swivel is right above the elbow. The elbows are on a ratchet for some unknown reason. And then we talked about the hands. And that's basically it. And I keep bumping into the wings or bumping the backpack out of place when I'm trying to manipulate the arms, which is an issue. And there is something weird about how far the shoulders sit out from the body. There is something strange about that. I can't quite put my finger on it, but it's off. It looks off. It feels off. The backpack itself, look at that. Come on. Come on. That's not good. It doesn't look good. It looks okay head on, which is fine for my needs, but come on. You know what I mean? Look, I can get my finger, and I got fat fingers. I don't like it. I don't. It doesn't look finished. Certainly doesn't look Masterpiece. Just to compare it, so that's his size white mold. Maybe you could argue that there's more of it, but it all compacts better. And and where they chose to put the junky bit is down at the bottom, so it just kind of beefs up the figure. Prowl mold, same thing. You know, all this stuff collapses just a lot better. Wheeljack, even, you know, probably the best example. So, I don't know. That came untabbed again. I don't like how the shoulders work, but that's what it is. There he is with some MP cars. Looks out of place. Look at that stuff behind his head. It just looks out of place. There he is with KFC's blaster. Final thoughts wise, this guy seems really unfinished. It's his fiddliness. Like, it's the lack of things like locking together tightly. It's the lack of things feeling like everything has a place and every place has its thing. It doesn't feel that way here. Like, the back trunk bit doesn't feel like it really belongs where it's at. The wings don't really feel like they belong where they're at. The shoulders don't really feel like they belong where they're at. Where the backpack piece locks into the torso doesn't really feel like that belongs where it's at. The pieces here, they don't really feel like they're there to stay either. Do you know what I mean? There's just a lot of that everywhere. There's also some hindrance things, like the fact that he can't kind of get out of his own way in this general area hinders what you're going to be able to do with him and how you're going to be able to get him to look. The other problem is the ankle rocker, it gets jammed up. I didn't notice it when I was showing it, but that's as much ankle rocker as you get there. So, like, that foot's fine, but this foot, he's not planted. You see what I'm saying? Like, you're going to have those sorts of issues here. So, I don't, and then, oh God, that. And then the whole, like, you know, he just feels kind of light. I don't know. I just don't get a good feeling. Like, this stuff doesn't feel finished up here. Like, I don't know. I'm not crazy about this. It's okay. It's fine. It'll do. Like, I don't think I'll need another Trax necessarily to replace this one. But this is by far my least favorite Masterpiece car. Easily. Maybe it has something to do with the changing of the designers over there. You know, like, I think, I could be wrong, but I think this is the new designer's first car. And, you know, sometimes when stuff changes, when you're used to a certain level of whatever, it can be hard to accept, and we might be going through some growing pains here as consumers.
How is it?
It's good. It's good. Did you do something different this time?
Well, I used a new recipe.
Oh, I see. It's fine. Did you get rid of the old one? There are some good things going on here, like that little forearm transformation. Like, that's classic Masterpiece stuff. That's what I like to see. Little things you wouldn't necessarily expect that are really clever, really smart, and really executed well. The paint is phenomenal across the board. There's a few places on the wings where it gets out of hand, but outside of that, I mean, the metallic blue finish is brilliant. The whites look great. The yellows look great. The reds look great. They really went above and beyond the call of action as far as paint's concerned. The car mode is perfect, maybe. I mean, there's a few little places where I feel like it should fit together better, but outside of that, I mean, it looks the part. The flight mode looks outstanding. It's a shame I'm just not going to be displaying him in either one of those modes. The name of the game here is to get him in a pose that you can live with and get him on a shelf and be done. And that's unfortunate. That's not what I've come to expect with the Masterpiece line. It's not terrible. It's not. It's well made. The plastic is good. The materials are good. The paint is great. It's the design. It's the engineering itself that feels less than what we've come to expect. So get them on a pose. Like, I'm pretty happy with this pose here. Like, I'm going to be happy with that. That'll be on the shelf and that'll be fine just in that pose, and that's how he'll be. But that's the extent of it. We're not going to be doing anything really extravagant with this guy. And I don't really have the space to do that anyway on my shelves, but I should be able to. Get him in a pose you can live with, get him on the shelf, and be happy, or wait for Fanstoys to do it. It's kind of how I feel at the moment. I'm pretty discouraged. Had a good feeling as I had the car. The further I got away from the car, the kind of less happy I was. So, I don't know. You may not feel as strongly as I do, but the Masterpiece cars have in Masterpiece Soundwave and MP10 have kind of been my favorite, transforming robots to be released in the past 5 years. And this doesn't feel like that. This feels less. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.